Hello, hello, and welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome. My name is Luana, and I have been working as a psychic medium for the last 5 years, specializing in twin flame connections, relationships, and divine connections. So if you clicked on this video, trust that there is a message here from Spirit for you. Perhaps you were drawn to the thumbnail or the title, whatever the case is. I trust that you can take away some part of this reading to apply to your current life, your twin flame journey, that will help you in some way. This is also a timeless reading, so whenever you find this can apply to you. And you're also welcome to set some intentions for the reading before we dive into it. Just take a deep breath in and just focus on whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, and we're going to dive right into the reading. All right, all right. So, first of all, just from this card spread, I feel like you who are watching this are going through a period of a lot of change and things shifting around. I'm hearing the past crumbling down, and this almost feels like a bit of a chaotic time. We have the Judgment card in the reverse position, and this is really the card of awakening, of things coming to the surface. With this coming up with the Nine of Swords, which is the card of anxiety, as well as the Page of Pentacles in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Wands on the bottom, there's like a fast moving energy here that feels really, I have to say, like hyper excited, determined to go forward. But I feel like there's something in this situation that is almost blocking your path forward, or you're wanting to create some kind of new beginning, but it's not coming to fruition for whatever reason. There's almost this element of things feeling out of your control, things feeling predestined as well. Because we're pulling on a twin flame reading, I'm really going to be reading into the love aspect of this energy. But really, what I'm feeling here is your guides are coming through with a message, and they're really saying everything that's happening right now, everything that's being shaken up, and even like your plans being derailed a little bit, which I feel like for some of you, this is really going to apply. Your plans, your ideations of what you wanted to manifest or occur seems to be like turning on its head a bit. Like there was this vision for what you wanted, and then things stopped. Some of you might have recently transitioned out from school to a job, or going from school to school. That's just an image that I'm getting for some of you. It just feels like you're at the point on your journey where Spirit is actually asking you to pause, to slow down, to go within, because whatever surface frustration is occurring here, I actually feel that it's a reorientation. Um, it doesn't feel like this is a permanent thing. It really actually feels like whatever you had your mind focused on mentally, wanting to go forward really fast, they're giving me the words like original plans. Your original plans were actually meant to be put on pause, and there was meant to be this shift. And so I know that whatever is happening here, Spirit is saying this is bringing up anxiety, this is bringing up feelings of like hastiness, like feeling like you need to move forward really quickly and to move forward towards your goals and your ambitions and whatever it is that you were wanting to build in your life. um, this could even also apply to a relationship, but I also feel like this is life in general, and it could be that things were very shaken up by a twin flame connection. um, let's dive more into that. I'm really feeling drawn to my Whispers of Love oracle deck, and I use this so much in my client readings and in my community. This deck is so wonderful for pulling on lessons that we can learn right now. Sometimes energy becomes stuck or stagnant, or we're almost suspended in like one lesson because we're meant to be learning some kind of lesson. And I feel that this deck is really wonderful for that. So I'm going to take a moment and shuffle these cards and see what comes out for that. Okay, so the card that we have for the Whispers of Love Oracle deck, we have Love who you are. You are divine, delightful, and deserving of the wonderful things life has to offer. And on the bottom of the deck, and I've been reading the bottom messages for a while now, because I really feel like it's a good indicator of the underlying energy. But we have new love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work, prospects, or for spiritual growth. I feel like those of you who have clicked on this video, um, and I also want to mention that this can be referring to the time period that you met your twin flame, or a part of your past, a specific period of time in your past that is still highly relevant to right now. So if this applies to a past circumstance for you, just know that it's being brought up intentionally by spirit because there's some kind of message here that still needs to be delivered, some kind of lesson that we're still learning about that time period. So this new love card makes me feel as though this is an initiation into a higher level of relationships, a higher level of love. Yeah, and they're drawing me to my little, I think it's labradorite heart crystal here. But it's essentially this feeling of breaking out of the relationship mold that society has for us. So, what the guides are coming through and saying is they're almost showing me most people who are unawakened and they're just living their life and they're just in these relationships, their relationships becoming stale and boring, I guess is the best way to put it. But relationships that become stale and they're no longer growing, and these are unconscious relationships. And I feel that you've actually come here to experience, yes, this temporary setback and these difficulties, but it's for a really good reason. And Spirit wants to emphasize this. If you ever feel like you're just going along for no reason, Spirit wants to always bring you back to the reason. There's always like a pre-birth intention that we have for experiencing relationships or circumstances in our life. And I really just feel that this period of your life, this twin flame journey, even for some of you, if you are not in contact with your twin flame or whoever that you have this soul connection with, Spirit is saying, like, this is all part of the journey, this is all part of the work. And I'm really feeling this energy of being suspended in what feels like nothing is happening. So that kind of goes back to the tarot spread, right? Like, we were moving forward with a really fast, ambitious energy, and then it almost seems like the life happened, and then things felt like they're put on pause. And I really feel the energy from these three cards here. Just felt like things like stopped. So Spirit really wants you to know that you are being put on pause for a good reason, because you're meant to be doing this internal restructuring. And that feels really important. So we're going to shift over to another deck that I have, Wisdom of the Oracle, because I really want to look at what the advice is here. Like, what can we know or learn in order to begin moving our energy forward? Because even if you were not as ambitious anymore, or ambitious as you were when you were pursuing whatever this dream was, whatever this passion was, whatever this pursuit was, like, that energy's still there. And we can, in a lot of ways, channel that energy productively towards moving forward on our soul's journey. Okay, so we have the fates. Okay, this is almost like a repeat, a little bit of that Wheels of Fortune card. This is about divine timing. This is really the card that I read as like the soul contract um, card, where you're deciding the type of life that you want to have before being born, before coming here. Let's do two more cards. Okay. All right. So the reason that things are on pause here, yeah, I see this so clearly. So the reason that you feel that things are on pause in your life, whatever pursuit this was, as well as your twin flame journey, the reason that you feel suspended right now is essentially so you can Really, really, really work on loving yourself. So, this never ending story card, this is like the quintessential card of saying negative things to yourself, feeling bad about yourself, feeling insecure. I want to really read from the guidebook for this card because I feel that it's so, uh, really so relevant here. And this is the, I have to say, like, everything that we've said in this reading, this is not new to me. I've worked with so many people on a twin flame journey, and I totally understand and can relate to this period of life that you're in. I really can. And it's not a bad thing. There's nothing that's gone wrong. And I feel like there's a message there for someone. Sometimes our mind thinks that things have gone wrong because things have been paused or we're suspended in like a void of nothing happening. But it is all about the internal shifts that you make. And those internal shifts are really real things. I'm not just saying that in like a fluffy, like happy, let's all heal ourselves type of spiritual way, but I mean this in a really tangible, life changing way, right? I really mean this in a tangible way, a grounded way. Never ending story. It says self criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary dramas. There's a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It's the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of that is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part. And I wanted to say past here. So, fear from the past is also messages coming through. Small and vulnerable and easily soothed. Yeah. So, this is the underlying reason that everything's on pause and we have regeneration in the fates, which is this pause in healing. You are healing on a deep, deep inner child level. For some of you, I would really encourage you to dive deep into inner child healing because I actually feel that that might give you the tools and the answers that you're really looking for. When we're so stuck in our adult life, it's always, always, always because we have some kind of unresolved inner child wound. When we're born as children, we are as whole and complete as can be. And over time, we experience wounds and we kind of shift and morph away from our original, really untouched state. And that is why we get so stuck in our life. And I know that sounds so simple, but trust me, I've been doing this work for a very long time. Um, I've worked with so many people, and one of my abilities is essentially to read into energy and to see people's trauma that's stopping them. Like when I do a reading, when I tune in, I can see and really feel what time or period of their life they sustain this wound, what their thoughts are that are blocking them around it, and how it's like an emotional block. So everything, absolutely everything, is about healing in this situation. You're regenerating, and on this card, we also, like, you see a tree that has been burned, right? Fire can be really cleansing. It can also be very destructive. Um, my guides are referencing like twin flame journey, like your twin flame coming into your life and burning everything to the ground, metaphorically speaking. I hope they didn't actually burn everything in your life to the ground. But then you have this chance for regrowth. And in nature, forest fires are actually a really vital part of the health of the ecosystem of a forest, and they do controlled forest fires. So it burns away everything that's dead and new, and then you have this resurgence of growth after the forest fire, right? Um, let's quickly look at the Fates card in the guidebook. And then I'm going to close this reading by pulling on some future potentials. and having an action card, because I feel that this picture is very clear, and we'll probably get into this in future readings. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel if you want to receive future readings. I'll be trying to post more regularly. All right, the fates, fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those are. And here's the line they're giving me: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this card is all about, it's so important that for you right now, you're bringing a deep level of acceptance to this past event that came out with the tarot. A deep level of acceptance for everything that has happened, and a deep level of acceptance for where you are now. There's nothing wrong with where you are now, but I feel like you have a lot of negative thoughts about where you are now, which is fine, right? Like that reflects how you feel. But at some point you have to be willing to accept where you are so that you can make a change, right? If we just stay feeling negative and thinking negatively and focusing negatively about where we are, we never actually shift our energy to be able to move in a new direction. So I really want to pull one last advice card as well as kind of like a future forecast card, um, to see where you're going to be moving in the energy. And I will definitely continue this in future readings. I don't feel that this is going to be just a one reading thing. We'll be debunking. We'll be going over this in many future readings, because I feel like this is a big thing. Like there's many layers to your story, there's many layers to your energy, and we'll take our time to really break it down. Okay, so a plum. Am I saying that right? A plum, a plum, a plum. Card 71. All right. And that came out in the reverse position. Also, if you're wondering, this is Teal Swan's frequency cards. These are so good when you're doing any kind of healing work. Um, let's see what the messages have to say. Okay. Wow, this is really accurate to what we've been talking about. If you have drawn this card in reverse, you are currently feeling as if you have very little control over your life. You may feel that you have lost steering power over your life and are now at its mercy. Yes, whatever past event and this like pause, it just feels like we feel like we're a victim of what's going on here. There's an overuse and abuse of authoritative power surrounding you at this time. This usually comes in the form of domineering and rigid thinking. It could be originating from you or from another person, often a boss, partner, or a father figure. You are on an unequal relationship. There may be an insecure person in your life throwing his or her weight around who has a need for control. Maybe that person is you, maybe it's someone else. This is not the time to rebel against them. Instead, try to get in touch with your own need for control and stand up for what you know is right for you personally. Be for what you want without being against what others want for you. If you are feeling fed up with feeling powerless, the universe is calling you into your own power. It is calling you to make decisions in your own favor. Independence and freedom are in the works for you now. Embrace them both with your choices and actions. Break free from the confines of the limiting structures in your life and the old traditional way of doing things. If you are the authority, you may find that having to take an authoritarian role every day just does not sit well with you anymore. Whatever the case may be, now is the time to break free yourself from what has been holding you back. So, as this card said, this can be an external person, this can be yourself. And what I'm really hearing as I read that is that it's, they mean the best, whether this is an external person or you mean the best for yourself in the way that you've navigated your life thus far. And what Spirit is saying is it's so important that you're taking time to really self-reflect. You're taking time to not rush ahead. I just feel that it's so important that you're not rushing towards your goals or big change right now. I really feel that it's so important for you that you take this time no matter how much time that looks like, to just rest, to regenerate, to love yourself, to accept the past, to really surrender to the present moment, because you do have change in your future, but right now it's all about healing and slowing down, giving yourself permission to rest, letting yourself recover from the past really is what I'm hearing. um, really diving into that inner child work. So thank you so much for tuning into this reading, and I'm going to be recording so many more readings just like this on this channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You can check out my other readings and healing sessions as well. If you want to work with me one-on-one, enroll in any of my healing courses, all these things that can help you in your twin flame journey, you'll find all of that in the description. Otherwise, let me know in the comments how this resonated for you personally. I am sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next video. Take care for now.